Hello friends, today is 17 January 2017 and we are going to discuss the articles of The Hindu. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the article which we are going to discuss. First article is regarding Navjot Singh Sidhu. Navjot Singh Sidhu, as you know, former MP cricketer, and also he comes in the Kapil Sharma show. Now he has changed his party, now he has joined the Congress party, so this article is not important for our UPSC's perspective. Next article is about the global economy, how the global economy is being slowing down and what are the repercussions related to this, how the unemployment is also increasing. So we are going to discuss this article. Next article is about the death of the former president of Iran and how he helped to improve the relations with the India. So this article is important and we would discuss this article in the context of India and the Iran relations. Here is the interview of Amartya Sen, some good points of Amartya Sen. So we would also discuss some important points of this article. Next article is about MGR. UPSC rarely ask, or you can say that never ask the particular person specific questions like political leaders. But still that guy started the welfare politics in the Tamil Nadu, and now that kind of welfare politics has been adopted by the almost all the states. So we would discuss this article in the context of welfare politics, like subsidy the states give to the people. And before this, we would also try to discuss a article of Economics Times. So let's start. Context, as we know that global financial crisis in the last decade. You also know that global economy is being slowing down, and there are various reasons for that. We also discussed this thing. You must be aware why the global economy is being slowing down. So first reason is Chinese economy is on the slow track, and the second reason is the fall of the oil prices, and third reason is demand from the European side. So these 3 points are responsible for the slowdown in the global economy. And result of this is that there is mismatch. You know why? The people, there are a lot of people who want to work but they are not getting the employment. So the mismatch between the persons who want to work and those who are not able to get the jobs, this mismatch is continuously increasing. And in 2016, also global economy registered a 6-year low. So scenario is dim in the future also. And a report which was published by the World Employment and the Social Outlook 2017 report said that out of the population, 42% population out of the working population, they are not able to access the contributory social protection schemes. So what are the contributory social protection schemes? These are actually the pension schemes. So article says that even the working population, out of the working population, some sections are there. Although they are working but not able to access the contributory schemes. And after that, they give some kind of facts like 50% of the workers in emerging economies. These facts are not important. We would not be able to remember, and also we can't use them in our answers. So there is no need to overburden our mind with this kind of, you can say that, trivial data. Next is informal sector like vendors and self-employed people. They also face a lot of hardships because whatever the welfare schemes which are launched by the government, sometimes this kind of informal sector, they are also not able to avail the benefits of those welfare schemes which have been launched by the government. So what is next? Next, a lot of data was given in the article, and I didn't include that data, so that again the same thing, no need to remember those data. And slow reversal rates, this is also an important point. And slow reversal rates means that mismatch is continuously increasing, and also reversal is not going to happen in the near future. And next is about the poverty, an important point of the sustainable development goal. Even the first objective was to eradicate the poverty, but the way the unemployment is increasing and the way the global economy is on the track of slowdown, so how the countries will be able to fulfill this promise of eradicating the poverty? This was the country's first objective which they adopted in the sustainable development goal. Also, this is posing a challenge to the policymakers. It is on the next slide. Also, now the next dimension is about the globalization. You know why the globalization was legitimized in the world? Because globalization resulted in the increase in the income levels of the lowest rungs of the society. And although besides this, apart from this, globalization also created a lot of problems. Like you can take the case of mass migration, how the people from the Syria and Iraq are going to the European society, and European society are not accepting them. And besides this, economic dislocation is also the result of the globalization. So there is challenge to the policymakers that they do not allow the income levels, like you can see that they must, here it is written, income levels do not fall below the levels of basic subsistences, so that they can actually ensure the policies must be like that. The policies must ensure the livelihood of the people, and this was also the goal they adopted in the Sustainable Development Goal. So next article is about the India and the Iraq relations. Question may come like that: India relations with the Iran shifted dramatically after 1990s. What factors were responsible for that? And also discuss the current status of India and Iran relations. Actually, the article would be having a lot of important points which you can use to answer this question. What is context? Context is the death of the Akbar Hashemi, and next is the Afzanjani on 8th January. Actually, he was a very pivotal figure in the Iranian politics, and he played a role in the 1979 Islamic Revolution, and also he was 2 times president of Iran and also important military leader. So why important for the India? He paid a very important visit to India in very critical time. That's how it led the foundation of which after that there was improvement in the relations of India with the Iran, and things started to change after his visit to the India. You can see here. He actually laid the groundwork for the further cooperation between the India and Iran. First, actually, he was radical, and after that, he changed his approach. And in the last decade of his life, he adopted the policies of pragmatism, moderation, and reforms. And also, now the Iranian society is now divided between the 2 groups. One group is conservative groups, and the other group is the reformist group. Reformist group says that Iran must leave the theocracy, Iran must adopt the democracy, and they must improve the relations with the Western countries. But conservative says that no, we must like have theocracy. Theocracy is the rule in which there is the importance of the religious leader. Ours is democracy, where there is no role of religious leader, and democracy is the government by the people, for the people, and of the people. But in the you can say that theocracy is not by the people, of the people. There is a role of supreme leader of the religion there. We can take the case of medieval times of India, in which ulemas were there. Although it was not purely theocracy. Theocracy was there in the Iranian society or Middle East countries. In India, there was no actually theocracy, but symbolically you can say that there was theocracy. And how he was radical, actually, he presided a lot of, you can say that he took a lot of decisions which resulted in the assassination of dissidents in home and in the Europe also. And also he refused to lift the fatwa on the Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie, you know, that wrote a book, Midnight Children, and there was a lot of controversies about that book. And fatwa was issued by the several sections of radical Islam and radical Islamist, and he refused to lift the fatwa on Salman Rushdie. This kind of things show that he was radical, and in the last decade of his life he changed to reformist. So let's discuss little timeline how the things happened. After 1990s, in 1991 LPG happened, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, and our economy started to improve. So in 1993, then Prime Minister of our India, PV Narasimha Rao, he paid a visit to the Iran, and what was the result of that visit? A case was going on in the UN regarding the India's human rights violation in the region of Kashmir. So Iran actually bailed out India, and that's how the resolution was not passed. After that 5 months, bonhomie was interrupted. How the bonhomie was interrupted? In 1992, the Babri Masjid was demolished, and also persecution of the minorities. And these 2 issues actually irritated the Iran, and the Akbar, the former president who had to come in India for official visit, he cancelled his visit, and India didn't take this thing in the good light, and the snub was taken very badly in the India. But the things again changed. The things against took the U-turn. How? Within the year, that guy again came in India, and also not only came, he spotted the Indian concept of secularism. He also said that India tried its best to save the Babri Masjid, and he also said that India has serious will, and India wanted to improve the relations with the Pakistan, and also wanted to improve the situation in the Kashmir. These kind of things were said by that former president who came to Indian visit. And what were the factors responsible? Actually, why he came within the 1 year when he cancelled the visit? So actually, before discussing that, there are few more points which are important. He also signed a three-way India, Iran, Turkmenistan. Actually, it was a transitory route, and he also proposed the Tehran, Delhi, and Beijing access. Now, at this stage, this looks funny. Why Beijing, Tehran, and Delhi can come together? But at that time, in 1996, a lot of two border agreements were signed between the India and the China. One in 1993, and the second is 1996. So there was hope, because it was, you can see that it was in that light that the three countries were not actually against the US, but it was, you can say that, they were assuming that together we can fight against the US, or we can stand, actually not even fight, actually we can stand against the US. So this kind of things, that's why he proposed the alliance of these three countries, which never happened. And also at that time, US Treasury Secretary, he was also on the visit of India, but India struck the balance between both the leaders, and that's how it was the starting of the policy of multi-alignment. Before this, India used the policy of non-alignment, but in this kind of balancing, India started using the policy of multi-alignment. So what are the other factors responsible? Actually, Indian economy was performing very good, and Iran had to sell its oil, and the Indian economy was performing good, and we needed the oil. That's how our needs became the complementary to each other needs. And next is rule of Taliban in the Afghanistan. Actually, Iran understood Taliban as their enemy, and we also spotted the government of Afghanistan, and we didn't take the Taliban in the good light. That's how Taliban was the enemy of both the countries, and this is the thing which brought the two nations closer. So what is next? Sometimes they ask that what was the importance of visit of Akbar, the former president. Three things actually were important. It strengthened the economic diplomacy and focused on the connectivity, energy, and the trade. Mutual concerns about the future of Afghanistan, and both were on the same track in this thing. And third was India learned to strike a balance between US and the Iran. So what was the economic diplomacy? Economic diplomacy has only grown after that time, and now India also has been looking to the Central Asia, and also now the sanctions have been lifted from the Iran, because after the deal was signed between the US and the Iran. And this was the result that India also signed a Chabar port agreement with the Iran, and Indian import from the Iran also has increased exponentially in the last 1 year. There is a pressure on the RBI also that they allow Iranian banks to open their branches in India, so that the trade can be enhanced. With respect to the Taliban, actually, you can say that there are the signs of danger for India, because Iran is now strengthening its relations with the Taliban. And that's what India would never expect and would never want. Because you know why? Because we always endorse the Afghanistan government, and we never spotted, we do not have any kind of links with the Taliban. And Taliban leader Mullah Akhtar Mansour death, he was coming from the Iran in the Balochistan from a drone strike. Actually, he died, and before this he attended the International Islamic Unity Conference, and with no semblance of secrecy. What is way forward? Way forward is simple. India need to make a balance between the Tehran and the USA. And Obama administration was having the softer approach towards the Iran, and that's also helped India to strengthen the relations with the Iran. But now the Trump has said that Trump in the campaign time said that the Iran and the USA deal related to the curbing of the nuclear weapons, and he said that this was the worst kind of deal which has been ever signed, and when I would join the office, then I would repeal that deal. So now there are dangers. Actually, the European countries, they also want to trade with the Iran, and Putin also, he's you can say that kind of ally of Iran, and they would never ask US, they would never support that the deal which has been signed with the diligent efforts now must be repealed. So next we have to see what happens, but the main thing is that we have to strike the balance. Again and again, we have to strike the balance. So let's strike the balance. So next article is Amartya Sen. Demonetization, we have discussed a lot of things about the demonetization. Primary impact, we know that all these kind of things are now the things of past. Long queues we saw outside the banks, and also there was a shortage of cash. Now we have gone through this thing. Now there is a term of second impact, which is on the informal sector. As you can take the case of potato sowing in the West Bengal. Now it has been affected due to the demonetization, and other small businesses, they are also now collapsing. Amartya Sen says that the availability of money plays a very important role in facilitating the business. It is kind of, you can say that, promissory note. On the notes also you might have seen that in Hindi when we say मैं धारक को 100 रुपए देने का वचन देता हूँ, I promise to give the 100 rupee to the owner, some kind of things which are now written on the notes. That is kind of promissory notes on which the people have the belief, and that is how the transaction takes place. Before this, people used to have the barter system, like usher fees. You might have seen the gold coins in the past in the ancient movies. So after this token currency came, the things got very easy. And now he also gives the case of European society. Industrial revolution came in the European society in the 18th, 19th century, and he says that if they would have implemented the demonetization at that time, then the economy of the European countries would have collapsed, and that's what has happened with the India. Now Indian economy is also on the track of industrial revolution, and we have implemented the demonetization. So it would be very dangerous for India, very, you can say that, harmful for India. He said that he criticizes the government that they didn't see what may happen and just implemented the demonetization. And also he criticized the government that government is still not accepting that there would be slowdown and there would be loss of jobs. Why actually government implemented the demonetization? Actually, government wanted to curb the black money, but he says that most of the black money is not in the form of money. Either it is in the form of real estate, or it is in the form of precious metals, or it now has been transferred to the foreign countries, but it is not at all in the form of notes. So that's how the government erred actually. And the inconvenience and loss imposed with no black money, the owners, taxpayers have been harassed. So these kind of things we have already discussed, what were the drawbacks of the demonetization process. Why we discuss this? Because sometimes direct questions come related to the Amartya Sen. This time also a question we found in the paper 3 regarding the jobless growth and something like that. Now the article says that government has changed the track. When they started to implement the black demonetization, they said that this is the surgical strike on the black money. But when government realized that we are not going to get enough black money, so that's how the government changed the track. And after that they started saying that it is an effort of making our society as the cashless society. So government changed the track. But now the article says that this process would take time. You can't force anyone to learn the things, and in the country like India, it takes time to adopt this kind of digital operations and kind of policies the government is adopting, like penal provisions, and this kind of policies only create the chaos, and which would make our economy further uncertain, and also not important note, you can say that, harmful for the stability of our society also. So government must not do or adopt this kind of provisions of penalizing the people. So next article is about MGR. So question may come like that: welfare politics in some states like Tamil Nadu improved the HDI, but it also have some serious repercussions on economy. You have to comment on this. So MGR is Maruduvar Gopalan Ramachandran. Actually, he was a very important leader of the Tamil Nadu, and before joining the politics, he also served or played the role of actors in various movies. He was actor himself. Now is the 100th birth anniversary of MGR. That's why the article came. Lot of data is there in the article related to MGR, which is not at all important for us, and how he became the chief minister, how many times he was MP of the Lok Sabha. All these kinds of things are not important. So what is important here? Important is MGR actually laid the foundation for the transformation of Tamil Nadu. He started the welfare politics in the Tamil Nadu. And actually this kind of welfare politics, like giving the free sardis, free grinder mixer, so this kind of policies are called the welfare politics. So this kind of politics actually improved the human development index there, but also you can say that it spoiled the economy of the state also. And that's how is this kind of policies misallocate the resources. If we give the skills to the people, that's how we can bring the change into the economy. But if we are making the people dependable on us, then definitely our economy, you can say that, would suffer in the longer term. And also the people saw the poverty when he was out of the power. So how it helped the MGR? Actually MGR, you can say that he depicted his image as the clean image, because he used to give a lot of he used to implement this kind of populist schemes. So despite the scandals, the people loved him, and he was the, you can see that simply things how the people treat the Jayalalitha, they also used to treat the MGR like that only. Next is rail budget. You also know like that rail budget now is being merged into the financial budget or general budget, and this poses a very good opportunity, and we can improve the condition of economy, and we can help it to bring the more revenue, and the more services can be provided to the customers, and also it can be important for the Make in India and for enhancing the manufacturing growth of the country. And for this we have to take several steps, and we are going to discuss those steps which we can take to improve the conditions of the railway. So now railway budget has been merged, so a separate discussion on the railway expenditure will be on agenda of the Parliamentary Scrutiny and Oversight Committee. And also, if although it has been merged, but still there must be the proper maintenance of the railway accounts, and the performance indicators must also be evaluated very frequently. So the question may come like that: merging of railway budget into the general budget presents an opportunity to improve the condition of Indian railways. What steps are needed for that? So you tell what kind of steps are needed for improving the conditions of the railway. There is a little fact like that: the revenue of railway is almost 2 lakhs crores, and railway was also having a huge investment plans, and currently also is having a lot of investment plans. And railway now there is need to disclose. Railway must disclose its monthly and quarterly data on the physical and fiscal performances. So this is very important. We can write this thing in our answers also. And also, the railway should use its capital expenditure in the modular and fashionable way. So what is modular and fashionable way? Railway must link its capital expenditure for the fare and non-fare revenues. So simple thing is that railways must spend the money and invest the money where it can, you can see that gain more money. So this is the simple thing, no concept involved here. And also railways must adopt the commercial accounting. We must make the railway, and we must do the corporatization of railways. Corporatization means like PSUs, public sector units, SAIL, Authority of India, and ONGC. These are the corporates. These are like the other companies are now have been registered in the Companies Act 1956. So if we are making the railways like the company also, then they would generate revenue also, and they would be very professional. And also there is a need of improving the signaling safety and timetable of free trains. Actually the revenue is there in the free trains only, and customer trains or the regular trains, they do not earn much revenue, but still you can say that they are in the loss although. So what is way forward? Way forward says that although the railway has social obligations, because it is the government department, so it has to, you can say that, do some social obligations and can't increase the fare after an extent, because the poor people use the railways most. And so what we can do, actually we can replace the babu culture, and we can replace the babu culture with the entrepreneur culture in the railways. So clearly means to say that we should corporatize the railways so that they become the more professional. So this was all about in the article. So tomorrow we would discuss again. Thank you very much for discussion.